So when the church started growing, we knew we're going to need more space. And one day I was driving down Horsepen Creek Road. And I've passed this farm hundreds of times. But this day, in that moment, I heard God whisper, "Check out that farm." So sure enough, a few days later, I went and knocked on the door, introduced myself to Mr. Stanley. He invited me in. We talked for a few minutes. And of course, I told him I was a pastor, our church was growing, and we were looking for a place to build. I wondered if he'd be interested in selling us 10 acres of his farm. Well, at that time, Definition had about 200 people, and 10 acres seemed like more than enough. Well, Mr. Stanley said the farm is not for sale.
I'll never forget Pastor Allen would come into staff meetings and come into the office, and he would talk about this farm that he felt like God was inviting him to begin praying about. It was not uncommon for Pastor Allen to bring big, wild, extravagant dreams into conversation in our staff.
Alan is so funny, but I don't think he really knows that he's funny. The things that he does and doesn't think twice about it.
Well, this may seem ridiculous, but I just kept going back. I believe God wanted us to happen. In fact, every time I would ride past the farm, whether I was alone or with our family, I'd hold my hand out the window and I'd pray, "God, give us this farm in Jesus' name."
We would ride by the farm, and when I had things on my mind, the kids would always remind me, "Mom, you didn't stick your hand out the window and pray and receive the farm." And so we would always do that. And at the time, it just seemed like, years ago, it was like, Lord, is anything ever going to happen from this? But, we just did it because we just felt called to do it.
Finally, 10 years later, I wore down Mr. Stanley and he agreed to sell us the farm. And at the time, he was about 90 years old. He didn't want to sell the farm immediately while he was living, and his family had to pay a lot of taxes, so we entered into a lease to purchase agreement. Well, in the meantime, we needed a bigger church building. We had grown, we were in 3 services, we were completely out of space, and I heard about a church for sale in the middle of town across from Grimsley High School. Well, the location was great, the size was great, the price was great, but now we had about 250 people. We were all young adults, and we were all broke.
No one knew how we would pull that off. We didn't have the financial strength in most banks' eyes to do that, but we believed that that was what God had for us next. So we just continued to pray and to talk to the people that we knew to talk to. And in the 11th hour, God gave us the ability to do that. Someone at a bank decided to take a risk on us.
And to make a long story short, in the next 30 days, we received about $400,000. We renovated the building, and about 3 months later, we moved in, and the church began to grow like crazy. I could sit down kind of like I am in that video. So in 2008, this is where we moved next. And it was crazy the way God provided this building, and didn't look like this when we got it. But we were able to renovate all of this. That $400,000 transformed this room and this building, and over the next couple of years, man, the church really began to grow.
I'm Jason Schote. This is my wife, Nicole, and we've been coming here since 2011.
We started at Westover, and then they launched the New Garden campus 2013.
What got us connected was actually we know a few couples that came here already, and we were really looking for a church to really call our home.
We were just trying to find what is that one place that we both can grow in, and we both can really thrive and really learn about what it is to follow Jesus.
Everybody looked at us as just part of the family, not a black and white couple. They looked at us like Nicole and Jason.
And the first Sunday that we came, after we kind of got like the jitters out, we at that moment realized that we were sitting in a row full of other biracial families. And so because of that, we were just like, this is cool. This isn't something we've ever experienced before. And this is what heaven looks like. And it was just really encouraging. But it was those moments that really changed the trajectory of our family as well.